I want to create a quick video to give you some insight into how some of HubSpot's features, especially its latest feature called Breeze AI, can be leveraged in terms of finding prospective buyers who are consuming your content on your website. When it comes to marketing, there's multiple ways of acquiring customers. One of the things that you want to do is making sure that if you're in an established market, there's existing demand for your product or services. You want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to capture that demand, where HubSpot can be utilized in terms of creating forms and chatbots and other forms of call to actions to convert people that are coming to your website, capturing those people. But the other way that you can leverage HubSpot is by leveraging content creation power of HubSpot, whether that's through AI and content remix features or your own authentically written content that are published through HubSpot's blogs or landing pages or any other form of content distribution method, and then actually sending it to your prospects through emails or publishing it to your social platforms, all of which can be used to creating awareness for your product or services in your target market, right? So those are two areas that you can invest time and energy from a customer acquisition standpoint to acquire customers. But when you think about your customer journey, based on industry research and study, it shows that only about 1 to 3% of your total addressable market is in an in-market buying scenario at any given moment, which means 97% of the people that are actually coming to your website consuming content are not in an active buying cycle. They're just consuming information, researching about topics, problems that they're dealing with and how to solve it. So when those people typically come to a website, they don't tend to convert. They only convert when they're actually ready to buy, or you are presented them with some sort of a content offer that might entice them to take the next step in consuming that additional content. Sometimes what we call a gated content or something that's put behind a form that they would have to give their personal information in exchange to get that. But a lot of times people are immune to those sort of call to actions and they don't necessarily tend to convert unless they were so fixated on solving that problem and thought that particular resource or a piece of content that you put in front of them is going to help them solve that problem quicker, right? And then that's usually when they convert. But a lot of times, like I said, 97% of the people that are on your website do not take any action, which in the world of B2B, the typical conversion rate on a website is 2%, which means for every 100 person that comes to your website, only about 2 that actually takes any action in terms of getting in touch with you. That could be through filling out a form or picking up the phone and calling you. So the bigger question is, what do we do with those people that are on your website consuming information that you're putting out, but they're not taking any action? So this is where the power of AI and intent data comes into play. So HubSpot has a feature called buyer intent. So essentially what it's allowing you to do is reverse IPing the people that are on your website and surfacing up companies that are consuming information, right? The companies that are visiting your website and looking up content that you're putting out. So you can create what's called your total addressable market, and you can create criteria for what determines an ideal customer profile. And then you can create filters that tells HubSpot, hey, surface up companies that looks like my ideal customer profile. And if they're on my website, then let me know, right? And then if they fit the criteria of an actual buyer, by specifically visiting pages that I consider very critical in the buying process. Maybe that's information about your specific product offering, your process, your customer testimonial, your case study page, or even going to your About Us page or Contact Us page or Request a Consultation page, any of those pages that you deem important in that purchase journey for a buyer who is consuming information on your website. So if you tell that to HubSpot, then HubSpot knows that if a visitor comes to your website, reads a bunch of content, goes to these specific pages, and if they're showing the buyer intent, that they have an intention of making a purchase decision, and then using that intent data to then now surface up those companies, and then you can proactively either prospect into those accounts by touching them on LinkedIn or sourcing their contact information using third-party tools like Apollo, which I'll show you in a second. So essentially what you're seeing is an example of what's possible. So you have your intent funnel showing the total addressable market based on the target criteria that we set up. And then the 38 companies are the ones that are actually showing intent on our website, showing actions that deemed like an actual buyer looking for information. And then 16 of them are actually companies that is already being captured into our HubSpot CRM system, where you can actually see those companies converted into an inquiry, whether that's actually submitting a form or downloading a resource or in some form of getting in touch with us and they became a contact inside HubSpot. So that's in a nutshell what you're looking at. And then you have different criteria that we can set up, whether that's actually different industries and things of that nature that you can set up inside HubSpot to be able to say, hey, are those people a good fit? And if so, should I spend the energy and resources to go after those people? And this is where the configuration happens, where you can configure different criteria, where you can go edit the different things that you deem important. It's taking a couple of seconds to load. These are all the different kind of criteria, keywords, technology, company size, revenue, and everything else that you can tell HubSpot to say, hey, if these kind of companies are on my website, I want to make sure that you surface those accounts so that I can be proactive in my effort to reach out to those companies. If you already know that they're interested in your product or services and they're consuming information that you're putting out, that's the perfect time for you to be able to proactively reach out to those companies because they are in the market showing signs of a buyer. So that's the configuration of where you go modify that. And then shows the companies that are actually being surfaced by HubSpot as companies that meets those criteria that we set up, right? They're going to the pages on my website. They meet the criteria of a buyer, right? And then they have also fit the ideal customer profile. Those are all the things that matters, right? And so I'll just pick up a couple of companies here. So here's an example of a company, Trinity Hunter Partners. So it's actually been on our website about 13 times. They're showing all the intent sign. They're in my target audience. And it also, this HubSpot logo means they're also in my HubSpot account, which means they have either converted into a form or this is a company that I've actually added proactively. And then we've been maybe emailing them and they're back on our website. So in this instance, I'm going to open up this company. So I want to show you specifically how this prospect became a contact in our database, right? So HubSpot is still loading some information. It's taking a little extra time than normally would. So essentially, it should be loading up right here. So these are showing the recent pages. So the last time they were on our website was on Blueprint onboarding page on December 3rd at 4:30. The first time they ever came to our website was actually reading B2B Digital Marketing Audit on November 27th. They consumed a bunch of content on that day. And actually, they submitted a Get Started page and they were presented with a calendar page. They went to the booking page and then they finally converted into a meeting. Then they went back on December 2nd, reading some additional content. December 3rd, they also came back and read some additional pages and content. This information shows a little bit about the company that HubSpot is able to add to your HubSpot instance to show. And then here's the information about the contact. So this is the contact that actually converted on our website by coming through reading a website about marketing audit. So if I want to see this contact, I just click this link, it opens up that contact, and you can see the entire conversation thread that's happening with this customer. You will also be interested to note that this person was searching something on ChatGPT and ChatGPT provided an answer, which contained our website. OneIMS was part of it. And then they ended up being on our website, looking through all our resources. You can see all the call to actions, the forms that they submitted, the pages that they viewed, and they actually became a contact. And they even ended up booking a meeting. We've had a bunch of email conversations and thread that happened with them. And then it also shows the last meeting we had, which was on December 2nd. We sent a recap email, which may have contained some of the information. And we've been following up. They have not booked a recent meeting yet, but whatever information we've been sending, they've consumed some of those pieces of content and they revisited. The last time they revisited the site was on December 3rd. So you can see maybe that was the day that he must have opened up some pages or links that we provided. And then he also visited our page. So that's one contact that's in our target account, our intent data that was pulled by HubSpot and then shown as a contact that we have in your system because they converted. So let's imagine that there's a company that is on my website, but they have not converted. So I can just look at some of these companies here. Let's just say, let me see if I can find one. So ClickX, this is actually somebody who's in HubSpot. Let me see somebody who actually had page views. So Evolve Marketing is actually in Ireland. It's not in my it's not in my ICP because he's a competitor. He's also in Ireland. So I have no interest in pursuing somebody who's a competitor who happens to be in a foreign country. This also seems like a digital marketing company. So of course, we're creating a ton of content. So there are going to be people that are coming to our website that are consuming information. Let me see. So this is Sequoia Informational Technology, Sequoia. Let's see. It's a 50 to 200 employee company. So let's look at it. So they've been on our website, looked at a bunch of stuff, amplifying brand authority and mastering talent lesser. Why is it important to stay in top of mind? So they've been on our website a couple of times, consuming a bunch of content. As you can tell, I do not have a contact from this company. It shows me all the recent pages that they've been consuming. I even went to our look up our team page, our AuthorityX service page, and a few other informational page. So if I don't have that contact, now I need to source that contact. I can click here to add this company to, I will probably want to verify just a little bit about, is this even a good fit? Transforming ideas into reality, unlocking transformational with the Sequoia Pioneering Digital Excellence. I don't have a full understanding of what this company does, but it's a B2B organization. So I do want to add them to HubSpot. So I click here, I have credits. I click the button. It adds this company to HubSpot. And then I can go here, view this record. So this company is in my HubSpot, but since I don't have a specific contact at this company yet, I have a third-party tool that I pay for. It's called Apollo. And then I can go to Apollo and I can look at all the employees that work at this organization. And then I can see based on the criteria that I have as my ICP, I can filter down. I can look for a marketing person. Maybe it doesn't seem like there's anybody with that marketing title in that particular company. But if I had it, right, I can just go back and let me just hit refresh because it's filtered out. I'm going to go back into Apollo in a second and then find employees. Let's just say if this is the company head of talent management or business growth, I can click on this contact in Apollo and then source that person's email address. And then I can push it into HubSpot as a contact. And then this is not a fit because I have trained trained Apollo to say that if somebody was in the business growth manager at Sequoia, some of those titles are not deemed as a prospect or a buyer persona for us. So Apollo thinks that it's not a target for me, but I can essentially source their email address here and add this contact into HubSpot. and then start my sequencing and do some proactive outreach there. This is how HubSpot is able to enable you to find potential buyers that are on your website by surfacing companies based on your ideal customer profile, and then using either workflows to enroll them into a marketing campaign if that contact already exists inside HubSpot. If they don't exist in HubSpot, then obviously use third-party tools like Apollo to source the contact and then automatically enroll them into a sequence, and then proactively prospecting to that account to get some conversation started. So this is one way that you can leverage HubSpot and its buyer intent capabilities to be able to win some deals and create pipeline.